All right, so thank you for those who are joining. This video will be recorded. That way we can kind of post it to our YouTube channel for anybody else who wants to kind of look over the information that we shared. So my name is Karina DeRoche, and I am the new graduate assistant for the Department of Intercultural Affairs. I'm split between two centers. I'm working with LWCC, Ladonia Cultural Rights Center, and then I'm also working with the the Center for Leadership and Civic Engagement. So today we will be focusing on college. Now what? This workshop series really will just serve as like informational resources. There will be 3 other series for the rest of the semester, and those will focus on harder topics. So one of those topics will be like study skills, another one will be research, and then another one will be finals. So to kind of prepare us for all that, I figured this first workshop would be really good just to kind of get a little bit of idea about how you guys are feeling, especially since everything has gone virtual, but also provide you with some information about available resources to you here on campus, whether that be you physically being here in Pitt County or services that you can use virtually. So I'm going to also share my screen really quickly just to get the PowerPoint up, and then we have a guest speaker. So this is, again, like I mentioned, our first workshop. It's going to be focused on college. Now what? We're here. What do we do? I do want to go over a basic idea about etiquette and how we can kind of make sure that we have this meeting flow effortlessly. So I just ask that everybody is respectful, keeping in mind that everyone has equal worth and all perspectives are valid. If you aren't talking, I do ask that you mute your microphone. That way the speaker is able to speak clearly with no issues. And then if you have a cell phone, obviously it would be best to leave that on Do Not Disturb. Also, if you do take a moment to actually speak up, I just ask that you speak clearly. That way everybody can hear you. In my presentations, if you ever have a question, do not wait to the end to ask, because most likely you'll probably forget. If you have a question, it's always best for you to ask right then and there. So again, what we'll be covering, we'll be talking a little bit about some of the available resources here on ECU's campus. I do want to show a TED Talk about grit. And then I have categorized 5 tips of becoming organized. So I was hoping for obviously a little bit more attendees, but for those on, I would love for you guys to just introduce yourselves, whether that be your name, you can give me your class in your year or year, a fun fact, and then what you would like to see come from the ALANA workshops. And what I'll do now, I'm going to allow Amber to go first since she's our guest speaker.
Awesome. So my name is Amber Arnold, and I work at the Pirate Academic Success Center. So I'm located on the main campus by the cupola, right smack dab in the middle. Been there for 4 years. I did my undergrad and master's at ECU, so love helping other pirates. And I'm going to pass it to Victoria to introduce because she is my co-guest speaker.
Hi,
Perfect.
guys.
Thank you.
My name is Victoria. I am currently a senior. I am a triple major, math education, math, and chemistry. So my course load right now is crazy busy. Fun fact about me, I am from Charlotte. So I'm about 4 hours away from home. So I'm kind of stuck in quarantine, missing my family. But yeah, other than that, yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely, thank you.
Ashara, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ashara. I am a senior, and I my major is in art with a concentration in film and video production. And a fun fact about me is that I'm the Cinema Guild secretary. Yeah.
Awesome. Pleasure to have you here. Thank you. We have one more caller.
I'll go next. Sorry you can't see me. My camera's a little messed up, but I'm Anita. I'm a freshman here at ECU. A fun fact about me is that I own 2 horses. I'm actually from around here, so Greenville's already kind of like home to me. So just kind of learning about more resources I could use that I don't kind of already know about is kind of what I hope to get out of this.
Awesome. Pleasure to have you here. All right, so what I'm going to do at this moment, so these are some of the resources that we'll be discussing. Again, since I have a guest speaker, I'm going to go ahead and allow for Amber to go ahead and present. So I'm going to drag that over, and then I'm going to mute myself. And if everybody could turn their cameras off, that way we're just focusing on Amber and Victoria.
Awesome. And you're gonna have to bear with me because I've never presented on WebEx. So
No problem.
let's see.
Last night was my first night using WebEx, and it was a little.
Yeah. Okay, I think I figured it out. So I'm gonna turn off my video so that way I don't look like a crazy person talking. Minimize that. All right. So I wanted to just go over some brief resources that the Pirate Academic Success Center on campus has. While we are located on main campus with services transitioning to online, all of our tutoring and everything that we're going to talk about is actually in an online format. So let's see. We have 2 main areas within the center. The first one is tutoring. We have tutoring appointments. We also have study groups. We have test review sessions. And towards the end of the semester, we even do exam prep. We also have a Canvas course that's been designed around STEM courses. So a lot of the sciences, so biologies, chemistries, that our tutors create content for. And once they've created content, they upload it there. So it's almost like a built-in YouTube for our content taught by our tutors that's from classes that they took at ECU. And so if you might use Khan Academy or YouTube as a supplemental resource, this way you're getting that content from someone who was at ECU who took it probably with your professor. The other side of the house, we have Success Services. So we host a learning community there, some study skills support. We also do success coaching. We reach out if starfish flags happen, and we also have a call center. So we have a lot going on within the center. So I wanted to give you a brief overview of both of those things and then dive in a little bit deeper. Within tutoring, there are some courses that we are supporting through our center. So you would actually call us to book the appointment. We also have the ability to book that appointment online now as well. And so chemistry, physics, and biology are supported through Canvas videos, but also those same classes plus accounting and Dr. Veter's sections of psychology are also supported through the center. Study groups are hosted through Teams. We have several people from the same class all put together, and then we put a tutor in there with you so that way you can go over course content, review study guides. Study groups meet consistently at that same time every week, so you don't have to keep rebooking. And then we also use tutor matching service. And so our non-STEM courses are hosted through tutor matching service. As an ECU student, you automatically get $200 in free services. All of our tutors have been asked to set their rate at $10 an hour. So that's basically 20 tutoring sessions per semester for free. In order to book an appointment with us for tutoring, we do have a tiny URL so you can go directly there and book those appointments on your own. You can also join a study group on your own as well. And so the link to that is on the screen, so you can link through there. It is also available on our website. And so if you don't remember that tiny URL, check out our website and you can find all this information there as well. For tutor matching service, one of the key things that you want to keep in mind is you want to register for your account through your ECU email. That's how the platform knows that you're an ECU student and should have that free $200. You're also going to want to make sure you use one of our tutors that have our little PASC badge on their account. It means that we know that they made an A in the course, their faculty member has recommended that they tutor that class, and that we have trained them in some of the best practices that we have. Then a little bit more information about the Success Services side. I am not going to go into all of these things. However, if you want to learn more about them, you are more than welcome to reach out. It's also on the website. One of the biggest things that we do within the success side of the Powered Academic Success Center are study skills appointments. You can either meet one-on-one with a professional or student staff member. They're 100% customized to your needs. All those sessions are one-on-one. And so we can talk about anything from time management to test taking tips to study strategies, or how to take notes, or how to balance life plus school. And now that you're online, you might be picking up a job. And so we enjoy brainstorming with you to come up with the best plan that works for you. And then all of these appointments are hosted on Microsoft Teams. So whether it's a tutoring appointment or a study skills appointment, study groups, we use Teams for everything. We also have a call center. And so what that call center was really designed to do was be a point where we could reach out to you to say, hey, did you remember that this important event was coming up? And so we have students that work with us that call you to say, hey, did you know that we have a test prep going on? Or, hey, don't forget that the last day to withdraw from a class is Friday. And so sometimes it's nice to just have that phone call reminder. I know that in my life, I need some reminders occasionally. And so we thought, what better way than to actually make the phone call. And then while we're on the phone with you, we can make tutoring appointments or study skills appointments with you. So one of the things that makes us different is that we have tons of technology. Everything that we've always done has been in a collaborative environment. And so when we had to shift to an online platform of delivery, we were already set up in a good spot to do that. Everything that we do follows universal design for learning, meaning that we're not just going to be like your professor. We are going to bring in outside resources and games and make that content a little bit more interactive for you. We also focus on neurodiversity, understanding that everybody learns a little bit different, and it might not be a cookie cutter approach to make you or to help you understand that content. And so our tutors work really, really closely with you to figure out what works best for you. And so one of the things that I did want to point out, if you participate in tutoring or study groups or Canvas videos, one of the things that works well on your behalf is that we actually report those visits to your faculty members. And so those visits get sent at the end of every semester before grades go in to say, hey, I just want you to know that this student participated in tutoring and came every single week. We never make a guarantee that it helps your grade, but it does help your professor understand the effort that you have put in. Within Canvas, there's new content weekly, and we're also able to answer any questions that you might have. All the tutors took those same classes, and so they can help you kind of figure out and navigate those courses specifically. So I wanted to give a couple of minutes for Victoria to talk to. Victoria has worked with us for the last few years, and she is a tutor, but she is also a study skills coach, and she's used our services for her own classes. So I wanted her to be able to talk about things from her perspective as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Victoria to talk.
Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen just because it feels a little personal. But I feel like I have been working at the Tutoring Center for almost, I think, 3 years now. And I first came in my freshman year, came in just for chemistry tutoring. And I soon fell in love with the center. I loved how bright it was. I was welcomed as soon as I came in the door by the front desk. All of the staff members like Dr. Coghill and Miss Abby are right there. And you just walk in and you just feel like you're not as nervous because you're going to tutoring for the first time. And so I found my home there just as a freshman walking in, just getting tutoring, and I actually found out that they were hiring. And so I submitted a job application for a math tutor, and I was a math tutor for about a year. And I really saw the impact that I was making on my students and the resources that I was given by the tutoring center, being able to have different books. I know like the chemistry department has like the molecules, and we just have like very, very like high tech information where like I felt like I had the resources that I needed to help better the students that were coming to me. And actually last year I moved downstairs working with Miss Amber and doing study skills. And I think the best part about that is like I get to really build a rapport with my students, and I get to really help them. I get to help them more like understand how college kind of works when you first come in, working with the learning community, being able to just be like a support system kind of for them, not just oh, here, let me teach you math and let me actually build a rapport, like I said. What else? Like I said, like I kind of found my home at the tutoring center. I was actually struggling my freshman year, and becoming a tutor actually kind of led me down to the path of becoming a teacher. So I've like the tutoring center has kind of molded my college experience, and I am forever thankful, and I forever will be thankful for the opportunity and the resources that I've been given. And I love the tutoring center, and I really don't know where I would be without them. But yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Awesome, thank you. So that's kind of an overview of everything that I have. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and if any of you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask.
So one, thank you, Amber and Victoria. One, for just speaking and being here. Victoria, I thought your portion was very helpful because it seems as though that you have gotten a lot of skills in your toolkit. So, you know, coming in as a recipient now that you're actually working there and able to assist students in a different way, that's good to know that that can be a tool towards your professional development. So love that. Amber, I did want to ask, because you did mention about like the $200 credit that is provided per semester. With scheduling those appointments, can those appointments be scheduled sporadically, or is it you can only have like one appointment per week, or how does that kind of work?
Yeah, so with tutor matching service, it can be around your schedule and their schedule. So the tutors actually build their own profile and have their own schedule. So a lot of our tutors actually use later night and weekend because they're college students too, and they're awake crazy late when the rest of us are asleep. And so a lot of our students will use that as a supplement to tutoring, just so that if they have a test on Monday, they can get that last Sunday night tutoring in. So it doesn't have to be used all at once. It can be sporadic. It can be whenever works. You don't have to opt in from the very beginning. And so you can decide in 2 more weeks that you need help, and they're still there.
And just to kind of key in, a great thing about this year being online is now that students are able to actually make same-day appointments. So that was something that we just adopted this year. And I know a lot of students would come to me like, oh, dang, I have a test on Monday, but I have to make an appointment 48 hours in advance, and I wasn't able to. So now we are actually opening up so students can make same-day appointments. So that's even better for our students.
Awesome. And along with the $200 credit, and I'm just asking this just in case somebody else might have a question, but say you were to run out of that entire credit for the semester, what would be the fees for students then? I mean, ideally you said it's about 20 sessions, so I don't think you could really run out of that in a semester, but what were to happen, or what would be the following steps to get more credits added?
So the first thing would be to reach out to Dr. Coghill. She's the director of the center. Because that is above the things that I know. So the first point of contact in my life is always to ask Dr. Coghill what to do. But if the student needed the extra and was willing to pay, our tutors have set their rate set at $10 an hour. And so it just becomes a paid service after that. But the first point, always talk to Dr. Coghill.
Awesome. I'm going to, does anybody else have questions? I'm sorry, I kind of just bombarded you guys with questions. I was like, this might be good information to know for anybody chatting or no. I'm going to allow maybe a minute or so for any other questions. Does anybody else have questions for Victoria or Amber? Awesome. Well, I thank you guys again for being here. And again, this video is being recorded, so hopefully we can do some promotion of the PAC Center on y'all behalf.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. You guys have a good one.
You too.
So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn my screen off and finish sharing the PowerPoint with everybody. All right, so we had Miss Amber from the Pirate Academic Success Center. I did want to touch a little bit on some additional resources that I have connected with over the past 2-3 weeks as school has started, and I thought would be very useful for especially incoming students, but also students who have been on campus for the past 2 or 3 years. So one other resource that I did want to touch on is the ECU Writing Center. And they actually have a YouTube video which talks a little bit about their services. We won't watch the whole thing. We won't watch the whole thing, but I do want to share a little bit about their services. And then on the next slide, I'll have some contact information provided. So I did want to share, similar to PACS, obviously, the ECU Writing Center is designed to help students with their writing skills. Right now, their center is closed since everything has kind of transferred over to virtual. But like the video talked about, there are online and e-tutoring resources available for you guys this fall semester. Another resource that I wanted to touch on a little bit is going to be ECU Career Services, and they have a sort of available opportunities that you can use through their services. So I will be showing you guys a little bit about Handshake, and I'm not sure if you guys are too familiar with Handshake, but this version of Handshake, I would say, is kind of similar to like an Indeed. So ECU actually has employers who provide them with information and jobs, and then they post all of those available opportunities here on Handshake. So you can kind of put in your interested career field, and based off that, and also you can kind of tailor it to what you're looking for. So whether that be a full-time job for my undergrad students, if you're looking for an internship, all of those different opportunities are going to be available to you here. So I always ask that I always say, make an account. That way the information can be tailored to your specific needs. Another cool thing on here is that you are allowed to kind of get additional service and resources. So you can schedule your appointments. I've done an appointment in the past, but you can use these for resume reviews. You can CV letters, cover letters. They also help with interview preps, which I think is a very useful tool, especially right now in the times that we're in. Since a lot of things have transferred over to virtual meetings, using the platforms like Cisco, WebEx, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, it is always best to be prepared for an interview presentation. I think this is a highlight of their services, along with their job and internship searches. They also allow for students to make business cards as well. You only get a certain amount printed for the semester, but those could also be used for upcoming job fairs and things of that nature as well. In regard to job fairs, obviously, as you guys know, that will be done virtual now too. So I did want to share a little bit of information about the upcoming job fair. Let me see where it is. I can find it really quickly. Here it is. It's going to be offered virtually, but I will say, and this is a very important thing to note, that you will have to register for this event. Because it's done virtually, what they've decided to do is offer slots with certain employers. So honestly, if you are interested in learning more about the virtual job fair, I ask that you guys visit Handshake, and it can provide you with more detailed information on how to register, how to get prepared, how to connect. But do note this, after I talked with Crystal Waters over at the Career Services, she shared that if you are registered, say for a meeting with an employer from 11 to 12, if you're not in that meeting by 11, it will kick you out and you will not be able to interview with that or you won't be able to chat with that employer. So if you're going to register for this event, please make sure that you are on time. I always say 15 to 5 minutes early, but also make sure that you're using this to learn more about available internships in the area, but also about jobs, especially for those that are closer to graduating. There's also contact information at the bottom that you can use, but it's also on my next slide. So another resource that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and this was not here during my undergrad, so I think this is a beautiful, beautiful resource for students. So under CLCE, there is a program that is called ECU Purple Pantry. ECU Purple Pantry serves as an emergency food assistance service for students. Ideally, a lot of the bags are packed with about 10 to 15 pounds of food, and they're provided to students as needed. So I will say, if anybody, especially with campus going virtual, if there is a need for additional food resources, whether you're an off-campus student or if you're on campus, make sure if you are ever in need of services that you go to the Engage page, look for ECU Purple Pantry, and you would have to put in a form by 5 p.m. on each Monday if you are in need. The forms do open every Thursday. And then once you put in your form, if you're approved, what will happen is you can come receive your pack any Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the office. And that office is located in the main student center, suite 208. So this is a very good resource for anyone who is struggling to meet their daily intake, whether that be dietary needs or constraints, or if you just need a little bit of assistance on the food end. This is a great resource to use, and it's absolutely free. Another resource that I currently make use of that I wanted to touch on is the Counseling Center. And I provided links to all these pages, but you guys can always research on your own or just search up ECU Counseling Center. But right now, everything that the Counseling Center is offering is obviously virtual, like everything else. So they offer ongoing therapy sessions, they offer mental health crisis resources, substance abuse, they have all kinds of counselors in whatever area of need that you are assisting with. I will say with the ECU Counseling Center, if you are interested in receiving any of their services, it is always necessary to call. They really don't take any appointments or do information via email. So you will have to actually physically call this number to find out more if you're interested in making appointments or if there's just additional things that you want to know. But as far as their services, they offer a large bulk of services that are provided. And I would always say that if you are interested in receiving their services or talking to a specific counselor, that you take a time to look through their team. They do have little summaries about each staff, which is really, really helpful, especially because they provide you with information regarding their clinical interests. So dependent on your area of need, whether that be depression or anxiety, dating violence, different things of that nature will be tailored to what that specific counselor has clinical interest in. So if you're needing assistance with, or if you're a student athlete, or if you're struggling with LGBTQ identity development, obviously, you would want to tailor who you're seeing and base that to a good counselor. That's resources. These resources are available to you guys free. I know they provide similar to PACS, they provide you with a credit for the entire semester. But as long as you are enrolled in ECU as a full-time student, these services are available to you without a cost. And the last resource, ECU campus resource that I wanted to talk about really quickly is the Journal Library. And this is extremely helpful for any class, all class, especially if you're doing some sort of research. So I pretty much use this link right here all the time. If I'm looking for scholarly articles, if I'm looking for books, ebooks, anything of that nature, you can always search for that information here. And it'll provide you with the large list of plausible sources. But the really cool thing about ECU Library is that it also gives you a citation. So sometimes if you're like me and you always find yourself going to Purdue OWL, you can come right here to the ECU Library and it gives you the exact form, that you need that in. Another good thing about ECU Library services online keeping in mind that the library is still open from 8 to 10. You can also reserve a study room from here. You can request free ebooks. You can directly ask a librarian a question if you have it. And you can also borrow equipment from here. So this is a general resource that everybody should know as an ECU student, but especially for my students involved in research and typing papers and things of that nature, along with ECU Writing Center and PACS, the Pirate Academic Success Center. Join the library is also just as helpful for anything that you may need. Another resource that I wanted to talk to you about that my friend told me about was the American Opportunity Tax Credit, which is really just a credit that is used for education expenses, and that is available for any student in their first 4 years of higher education. So that is a credit that can be provided to a student, but it can only be up to $25,000. So if I was you, what I would say is if you are in need of a new laptop or if you are in need of a large, big purchase within your first 4 year of college, always make sure that you're looking up this information to see if you can get that amount credited back to you. This may be a means for you to get a brand new Mac on a discount. All right, and then these are some of the contact names that I have talked to directly. Obviously, Amber was our presenter for PACS. The point of contact for Purple Pantry is Lakeisha. Crystal Waters is the lady who I had a one-on-one with and talked about with the career services. Obviously, I just added the number for the counseling center because there are so many different staffs within that center. And then for the writing center, the little YouTube video I showed you, if you need assistance, you can visit this email or you can contact Dr. Johnson directly. So really quickly, I want to share this TED Talk. I am a big fan of TED Talks. I find them to be very inspirational, and it is my goal to present a TED Talk by 40. But I wanted to share this as incoming students, whether you guys are returning students or first year students, about grit. And this is by Angela Duckworth. You don't have to stay. You don't want to. You can leave. If you don't want to. If you want to stop wiping it. So I just enjoyed that TED Talk. I thought it was very interesting to hear, the research she's done and her thoughts on grit. And with her last mentioning of the growth mindset about how it's the belief that there's an ability to learn is not fixed, but it has the ability to grow, which is what I want all of you guys to take into this upcoming semester. There was another TED Talk that I had, and he talks about grit too, but he pretty much got that from her, which we won't watch, but it is also another video that I thought would be helpful, especially for helping students overcome their obstacles. So the last thing that I did want to touch bases on is going to be my 5 categories of becoming organized. So I have broken those down and talked a little bit about each little things that you can do. So one of the first things that is going to be using a calendar. I'm pretty sure a lot of people typically use calendars. If not calendars, they use a planner of some sort. But this is a very good tip of getting organized, as you can store as much as important information as you need. So I always say, put your due dates up there. If you are in any organizations, or if you do outside activities, put meeting times in there as well. If you're a student who's working, have your work schedule in there. Also, since everything has kind of transferred over to virtual learning, it's always a good idea to kind of get you a study schedule. That way you're still taking the time to focus on each course that you're in. Also, payment due dates is also a good thing to have in the calendar as well, because that can help for you to stay on time and not get any late fees. The next category is going to be keeping daily, weekly, or monthly to-do lists. And I consider to-do lists to just be random information dumps. So whatever is floating through your mind, if you know you need to stop by Walmart and pick up milk on your way home, put that down on your to-do list. If you know you have to finish a project, put that down on your to-do list. I always say do your important tasks first. That allows for additional time for any easier task. Another tip that I would also recommend is investing in a dry erase board or sticky notes. I love sticky notes. I have sticky notes posted everywhere. But even a dry erase board can kind of help you maneuver through your tasks. The third tip is going to be communication updates. So always have all your notifications on, whether that be from Canvas. Make sure you're getting notifications from Outlook when you receive a new email. At this point in age, we check our emails just like we check social media. If you're in GroupMe's, make sure that all of your notification systems are turned on. In regards to communication, I always recommend that everybody follows your syllabi, but also print that out and save it for future reference. Professors love to refer back to your syllabus. So always make sure that you have that. Highlight important dates again. Make sure that those are on your calendar, but make sure that you have that out as a reference for your duties and responsibilities for your class. Also, in regards to communication, I always say connect with your RAs and professors. Now that everybody is moving off campus by the end of this week, it's even better to use your professors as a resource. If they have office hours available to you, use that. It will help you, one, not only build rapport with your professor, but it also give you clarification on whatever assistance is needed. My fourth step to staying organized is keeping a budget and spending it wisely. And that just kind of entails all kind of budgets, whatever budget works for you. There's zero-based budgeting where you budget to the $0. I do a form of envelope budgeting. So I have my categories of required things monthly, and then I make sure that I'm constantly putting money in it for the following month. In spending wisely, I always say use resources like Chegg. That way you're not paying for books full price. Also using ECU Library, as I showed you, using that database search tool to see if any of those books are available online before you actually go out to purchase. You can use Acorn, Mint, Robinhood. Those are all investing applications that you can use, download on your phone. to kind of help you save money. Honey is a coupon app that can help, and then Retail Me Not is kind of similar to Honey, but it's coupons on retail services. Another means of spending wisely could be decluttering your room. You know, if you have old clothes that you haven't worn in 6 months, go ahead and put those in a box and try to sell them to Plato's Closet. Even if you can't sell them to Plato's Closet, it's always good to recycle. So maybe donating to Salvation Army or Goodwill or any other social service organizations that you know may use that service. And my last tip for staying organized is going to be manage your time effectively. So always make sure that you're establishing a routine. You know, what does your start of the day look like? What does the end of your night look like? Make sure that you're getting adequate sleep. Are you a morning bird or are you a night owl? Figure out what works best for you. You could also use the sleep analysis on your iPhone to kind of remind you about bedtimes and things of that nature. I always say to give yourself the most free or to give yourself the most of your time, make sure that you divide and conquer. So if you need to do your homework and that's due on Sunday, maybe write a little bit, maybe answer one question each day so that you're not overwhelmed on Sunday trying to do it all at once. But also make sure that you're taking time for breaks. Give yourself a break, a mental de-stressor. Another means of managing your time effectively is even doing physical activities. So you can do yoga, running, jogging, whatever works for you. Mindful meditations is also very helpful in managing your time effectively. I always say, be confident in saying no. That will save you a lot of time, whether that is, you know, being a part of an organization that you may not have time for. It's okay to say no, but be respectful in saying no. But also making sure you're maximizing your time. So use services that are available to you, like the ones that I talked about as far as ECU resources, or even make sure that you're getting involved in volunteering. So if you need service opportunities or service hours, you could always visit Engage or Give Pulse for upcoming events. CLCE offers the ECU Rights and Adopt a Grandparent program, which are fairly easy service opportunities available to you. But definitely make sure that you're doing something here in your 4 years that shows that you have been involved in campus and can build your resume. So just to kind of wrap up, we talked about a lot of the resources here on ECU's campus. Maybe one or two that we talked about, ECU Counseling Center and then ECU Purple Pantry. I apologize. Recapping of organization tips. So making sure you're using a calendar or planner. Make to-do lists, turn on all your communication notifications, budget and spend wisely, and also manage your time. And we watched the video on grit. So how can you build grit? I want to thank everyone for being here today. Our next ALANA workshop will be focusing on study skills, and that will take place on September 16th at the same time, 4 p.m. If you are looking for further details or if you want to share that with someone, you can definitely share this link on Engage. Or if you have any questions or concerns, you can feel free to reach out to me directly at my email. Thank you guys for being here, and I hope that you guys have found this interesting and that you use it useful to you. Thank you.